What year did you get to New York?
I graduated Yale in '58 and moved to New York a week later.
With any job prospects or just?
I had a job. I wanted to get into the entertainment business, but there were no such things then as communications courses or film courses.
You just.
And I didn't know how. I went down and I interviewed with several people. They offered me jobs for $30 a week in the mailroom. And I said to myself, I can't have let my family put me through Andover and Yale and get a job for $30 a week. But one of my best friends at Yale's father was the chairman of the U.S. Trust Company, and he knew I didn't know what to do, so he said, why don't you just join our training program for $64.50 a week, and don't worry about proving yourself or learning anything, just have the job for $64.50 a week. And that's what I did.
Where'd you live?
Then I lived on 78th Street between 3rd and 2nd in a 2-story brownstone with 3 friends. Then I got my own apartment at 61st and Lex. My friends were paying $33.50 a month when I took it over from them.
Are you
and
serious?
I paid $62.50 for years, right on 61st in Lexington. There was no fire escape, but I learned, I think, how to climb from my window to the fire escape next door. But but it enabled me to basically do what I did, because my lifestyle wasn't costing me that much. And I was able to, rent an office and,
So what would you say your first, big client was?
The movie The Lion and Winter with Peter O'Toole and Katharine Hepburn. And I, what's the expression, cut my chops on that. I was Joe Levine, the producer, who would produce The Graduate and The Producers, and he actually started the art film market in this country. He distributed Hercules, and with the money brought over the Sophia Loren film Two Women.
Yeah.
And I think she and it got an Oscar, I can't remember, but it created the art film phenomenon in this country. And anyhow, I went to work for him on Lion and Winter, and I learned a lot on it. The first time he screened it for 7 or 8 of us, I laughed my head off. And then 3 days later, we screened it for maybe 8 people, and nobody was laughing. But I had just seen it 3 days earlier, so I just sat there quietly and smiled. I didn't laugh, but nobody else laughed. And then maybe 8 days later again, we screened it for 40 people, and I laughed my head off the first time Katharine Hepburn said something funny. I forced the laugh, and the whole of the rest of the audience started laughing, and they laughed the whole way through. And then the next time, I just went to the beginning of the screening, laughed my head off to get the audience relaxed and laughing, and I did that maybe 24 times. Even when the press were there, because people just thought that Peter O'Toole and Katharine Hepburn were too important to be funny, and they just, when I started laughing, they'd realize how funny it is. And so I think that's really what got me really started.
And I'm sure that's when you and Catherine had started your correspondence or just
No,
knowing
I
each
didn't meet
other?
her till sometime later. I was working on a show called Ice Dancing, which was phenomenal. There were ice ballets by Baryshnikov, Peter Martins, who was the head of the New York City Ballet, and Twyla Tharp. It was starring John Curry, who'd been an Olympic ice skater, and Jojo Starbuck, who was married to, what's the football player's name? Catherine came one evening with one of her best friends, and who was a friend of mine, Irene Selznick, who produced the Tennessee Williams play with Marlon Brando, Streetcar Named Desire.
Mm-hmm.
And she and I were friends. So when the show was over, they came to Ice Dancing, and the show was over. I walked up to Irene and I said, would Miss Hepburn like to come backstage? And she said, ask her yourself. So I answered, and Katharine Hepburn said, what? And so I asked her, I said, would you like to go backstage? And she said, could I? And so I took her backstage to John Curry's dressing room, and then he took her on a tour of the ice on the stage, and yeah, and then we became friends after that. But it was sometime after The Lion in Winter, because she didn't participate in promoting it.
Yeah.
It was Anthony Hopkins' first film,
Really?
but he didn't come to promote it from England. Timothy Dalton, who was a Bond in 2 movies, it was his first film. He was 19, I think. We became lifelong friends.
How old were you?
Good question. Okay, 32.
32.
Yeah.
It's pretty young
Yeah.
for starting out like that.
Yeah.
I think we're good.
Is that good?
That was